Welcome to Reynolds Coliseum. It's a fun night for SEC versus ACC volleyball. The Tennessee Volunteers come to town looking to salvage the final matchup of the weekend against the NC State Wolfpack, who are undefeated in their home tournament. And what a unique matchup at two power conferences in NCAA volleyball. Perfect night for volleyball. Welcome you courtside with Paul McDonald. I'm Evan Budrovich. NC State, two quality wins this weekend. Tennessee, a loss earlier today. So how do these two squads finish out this tournament with a victory?
Well, both of them need them very badly. Moving on to the next weekend. Interestingly enough, this will be a great matchup. Both squads were victorious over Elon earlier in the weekend. 3-1 matchups resulting in wins for both Tennessee and NC State.
We'll focus on the head coaches here now. Lucas Labe in year 3 had an SEC win last year over Georgia. But if his team wants to become an ACC power, performing well tonight would tell a lot about this team.
Yes, it really would, and it would lend to his continual preach of consistency. Coach Slabe is looking for avoiding the highs and lows of bad passing then good passing. He really is looking for that consistency across the board, quality swings, quality passing and serving. Look for that as a point of focus this evening.
And some of his key players early on, because transfers have been heavy for NC State. How about Madison Williams earlier today? She had 12 kills and really carried the load for NC State.
Madison Williams looked fantastic. It was her breakout day. 12 kills in the 3-1 victory over Elon. It was her variety of shots that got it done. Mixing in a very heavy attack along with some off-speed finesse. So look forward to the spread of offense that Madison Williams can bring on the left side for the NC State Wolfpack.
That big block secured the victory for NC State. And for Tennessee, we'll focus on power in the middle of this lineup with head coach Eve Rakamwatch. She signed a 4-year extension this offseason. Her program went to the second round of the NCAA tournament last year. How do they build on last season here at Tennessee?
Well, and you talked about the extension. Well-deserved for Coach Rakamwatch. Building on last year is going to be tough. She is introducing many newcomers, so she's going to shoulder the responsibility on Natalie Hayward, the senior setter, and also Morgan Fingal, preseason All-CC, as you can see. Look for her to be set early and often in this matchup.
4 kills a set. That was top 5 in the SEC last year, so dynamic player in Morgan Fingal. And that's what makes this matchup unique, Paul. We have some heavy hitters in this offense, too.
Yes, it's going to be about heavy balls. It's going to be about offense. Whichever team can extend rallies just a little bit longer is probably going to have the advantage here. But I would expect short rallies and high hitting percentage early on off the set of a couple of very experienced setters, that of Kristen McDaniel getting the start tonight for NC State, and also Natalie Hayward.
Natalie Hayward, the all-conference setter for Tennessee, and McDaniel gets us started. Tennessee won in straight sets when these teams met last year in Knoxville. Volunteers hit 364 in that game. Now the first swing for Amanda Rice, who goes into the block. And a quick roof by Claudia Pollock, the 6'6" redshirt freshman from Poland.
How about Pollock getting together with Cadence Booth for the first point of the game? Booth touched up twice on attacks, but then it was the stuff for the finish in the first point of the matchup.
Tennessee a bit underwomaned in terms of depth at the middle blocking positions. We'll see if that plays a factor. And a quick kill for the Wolfpack.
Well, and right away, quality setting from Kristen McDaniel. She had to balance her body up along the net on that jump set. Kicks it back on the right side for the quick kill.
Vanya Bulik with the serve there. And off hands, great pancake by McDaniel. And through the block, what a response. Defense leads to the Broussard kill.
Well, and that's what happens when you extend rallies just a little bit. You allow for the firepower to take another swing. Love this scrappy work on the pancake from Kristen McDaniel. Outlet results in the big swing and the finish from Broussard.
Well, you mentioned the offense is coming to play. Both teams with high hitting percentages so far as that service error goes long. It'll be unique. Vanya Bukulik was really good in set 1 earlier today, but she did not play the rest of set 2, 3, and 4. How will Lucas Slave manage her rotations today?
Well, it's tough to say. She had a quality start for NC State, picked up 5 kills right away early on in set 1. in the matinee this afternoon, but since then she's been resting. Clearly she's ready to go.
Great response defensively for State. And the freshman misses long. That's Broussard. 12 kills, 9 digs earlier today. Nearly a double-double.
Broussard with the cut attempt, just a little bit wide. Good choice, maybe poor execution. I think she would definitely like that choice again. Look for her to attempt that hard angle later on this game.
Cadence Booth, one of 4 players from North Carolina on that service ace. And the outside hitter freshman puts one down for the ace.
Well, good work by Coach Eve Rackamwat to recruit out of the state of North Carolina, where she resided as the assistant for UNC for 9 seasons before she came to Tennessee.
She got a journalism degree from Chapel Hill in 2003. It was a great conversation pregame. Managing the life as a head coach and with her husband on staff, Gavin Watt. Nice dig on the back row for Wander. And that's saved. Paulo Borna keeps it up. And a joust goes into the net. So a point NC State. Little collision there as Fingal went into the net.
Yep, Fingal in the net. A lot of net play there. Both teams trying to get as balanced as they can. Love the pancake, though, from Laborda. So now Pancake's already early on, only 6 points in. Pancake from McDaniel moments ago. And then the diving save from Laborda. It didn't result in a point, but definitely fantastic hustle on the Tennessee defense.
Great atmosphere tonight in Reynolds Coliseum. You can feel the intensity with these two. As that goes off the noggin of Riley Shank, and a kill for Erica Levitt, the transfer from Long Beach State.
Excellent work from her on the swing. I also like the communication from Cadence Booth in the back row. She was yelling at her teammates to not try to dig the ball that was blocked. It was sailing out of bounds. So good communication by the freshman Booth to ensure that that ball was awarded with the point to Tennessee.
The Volunteers up 2. And Rice into the double. That is roofed. Kiki Granberry out of Winter Garden, Florida. Young freshman in this lineup at the middle blocking position.
Yes, and she is one of the newcomers in that middle blocker position. Middle blocker position depleted by the completion of the career of Ava Bell. Danielle Mahaffey out due to injury. Well, that gives an opportunity for Kiki Granberry to show her stuff. Nice stuff with the stuff there a moment ago.
The scoop is up and freed over Borda, but she hits it out, all for naught. Great effort, though, by Paola Borda, the transfer from Georgia Tech. We talked about it earlier today, Paul, but both these teams have a litany of transfers. 7 new faces for Tennessee and double-digit new faces for NC State if you count the transfers and the freshmen.
That's right, 11 newcomers as to 6 returners on the NC State squad. So all year, Coach Slave has talked that chemistry and building that cohesiveness is going to be a project. Don't look at our team, don't judge our team in August and early September. What he said was, hey, let's meet in November. We'd like to be in the conversation for an NCAA bid. That remains the goal, and he believes that this squad has a shot at that opportunity.
Well, the biggest way to do it is help your RPI. And 2 teams that finished top 75 in the country. There's an ace, Fernanda Rice. You win a matchup like this, and disregard the records early. It's a big boost come tournament time for your RPI resume.
It is, because both squads' RPIs will go up as those matches are played out of the scheduled RPI. So clearly, even if an RPI is a little bit low right now, Tennessee is going to face off against several top-notch teams in the SEC, while NC State, you talked a little bit earlier about the top 10 squads in Pittsburgh and Louisville. Mix in Georgia Tech. Both teams' RPIs have the potential to lift them to NCAA-worthy, bid-worthy positions later on this year.
We look at the preseason top 25, and it's littered with teams in these 2 conferences. Louisville, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Florida, and Kentucky. So that's a handful just in the ACC and the SEC. Of course, Big Ten volleyball right there in terms of the 3 power conferences in this sport. That is blocked out, so a kill for the true freshman, Ava Broussard. And Tennessee knows how to win at the high level. 2nd round of the NCAA tournament last year, defeated North Carolina. But you mentioned it, Paul, graduated Melissa Runnels, all conference. Natalie Hayward returns, but a middle blocker graduating as well. So a younger team trying to find its rhythm. Skying into the air into the arms of Broussard. block set here from Hernandez. And on the tip, that's a kill for Vanya Bukalik.
And a big dose of Bukalik there on that rotation, or that rally. First the swing that gets rejected, and then the high hands there over Natalie Hayward for the point.
Bukalik, the Ohio State transfer, 16 kills in this weekend alone, hitting close to 350.
And interestingly enough, she hit in the negative last weekend at Kansas State. So she's still trying to find her legs as an NC State Wolfpack and find her new rhythm with the new coaching staff and teammates.
And Lucas Lave challenged his team this week to be better passing and be better serve receiving. That set up their offense the other side. Good serving always helps as the overpass is dumped down. Ooh, and a joust falls to the floor. Kiki Granberry won it. That was a tight one against Riley Schock.
A little bit of hesitation from Schock, even after the blocker in Granberry was victorious on the joust. Schock had a chance to either play it or not. She turned around, just got her knuckles on it. Maybe if she takes her hands away, her teammates can keep that ball going.
Ooh, that's blasted out of the building. And that's the hit or miss mentality of this offense. Lucas Lave very clear about that. He was frustrated week one. His team overshot, tried to shoot over double teams, and really did not keep the ball in the court.
Right, and I think that's the reason behind that 3-1 loss to K-State. I think they're capable of beating K-State, but maybe that's another function of chemistry and having this team come together such that later in the season, maybe they would match up a little bit better against K-State. But last weekend, not so much.
Nice block at the net for Natalie Hayward, the preseason all-conference setter for Tennessee. Now McDaniel in a long run tees it up. And dug out in the back row by Lovett, who sets the pipe, and a perfect in-system swing for Granberry.
What a swing from Granberry. She got up on top of the ball, had to rotate so she could take it straight down, rotating her shoulder. Good work by her to snap it in between Bukalik and the middle blocker in Schock.
Greatest way to fuel your offense. Feed the middles and feed them often. Tennessee playing 2 freshman middles tonight. Now from the back row, how about that swing? And Broussard with her first punctuating kill.
Well, I love that answer for answer, back row to back row. It was Fingal out of the back row on the attack, Doug, so then answer with the back row pipe to Ava Broussard. Only one blocker up against her. She makes no mistake.
Broussard this weekend in 2 matches has shined for NC State. 21 kills, that's 3%. Tough set for Hayward. First use of the slide by the Wolfpack tonight. I'll tell you what, Paul, no ball falling easy to the floor in this first set. Hayward directing traffic, and the block goes out. So that's Cadence Booth with her second kill.
And this is the best I've seen of Tennessee this weekend. They struggled a little bit in the loss to Colgate. Elon, a very contested 3-1 victory. This is the most well-charged Tennessee squad we've seen here in the NC State tournament.
Volunteer team coming off a 20-win campaign. As that ball goes into the net. Tennessee's had a nice run of winning seasons here in Rocky Top. 4 of the last 5 years with 20-plus wins and a timeout early. We'll take the media timeout. Competitive first set here in Raleigh. SEC versus ACC. And we have a 3-point difference in the first set. Welcome to the block party here in Raleigh. 3 blocks for the Lady Volunteers tonight.
And it's really been about timing and just proper positioning for the young middle blockers. Keep on that block.
Yeah, Granberry's been very involved.
Granberry looking good. Just all in all, a well-positioned block. They're not doing anything fancy. They're just getting in front of the ball.
And this is a Tennessee squad playing without an all-conference middle blocker. Danielle Mahaffey out with a lower leg injury. She's missed the first 2 weeks. And a new challenge for the former setter, Eve Rackham-Watt, now as head coach. How does she find some productivity out of the middle blocking position?
Well, I think it's about minimizing the responsibilities for those middle blockers. They need to block and then not get too worried about generating offense. The offense opportunities will be there, but if they focus on the block and find rhythm that way, they can work their way into the overall part of the game and starting getting balls from Natalie Hayward.
And Mahaffey's numbers have been really good in her career. Top 10 in the country in blocks per set. This Tennessee team was second in the country last year in blocks, behind Maryland. So her presence could be big at the net when she returns.
That's right. And another reason Coach Rackham-Watt is a little bit disappointed to lose her. Last year was her first year as a full-time middle. She had been playing some right and some left. But the coach noticed the skills that she had in the middle and said, you know, we think you'd suit real well there. Well, that certainly turned into a smart move with that all SEC nod and being top-notch for blocks per set.
So insert 2 young middle blockers for Tennessee, trying to fill the shoes of a big responsibility. Now Hayward sets it up outside. And off hands, good tool to block by Booth, who now has 16 kills in the tournament.
Good swing by Booth, but we haven't called Erica Lovett's name a whole lot yet. Perfect pass from her, which sets up the easy set for the finish from Booth.
Spent her career as a 49er and a very productive one at Long Beach State. Top 5 in the Big West in kills and digs. What a touchdown line. Booth goes back-to-back points. She has 3 kills.
That's one of my favorite swings. She comes inside, she shows hard angle, and then she goes with the push into the corner. Great deception by Cadence Booth for another kill.
Cadence Booth, 2 kills per set in this tournament, hitting .265. The Tennessee club that just lost in 4 sets to Colgate earlier today. NC State 2 wins and a block at the net. There's Claudia Pollock getting her hands on it.
And again, the youth of the middle blockers just doing their job. Pollock gets her hands on that one for the solo stuff block.
I'm not sure if she saw this block, but it gets a little help from the net too on that one.
That's right. Net rejection.
I think Booth might get credit for a half block as well. Let's not forget Tennessee, second best team in the country in blocks last year as Amanda Rice sneaks through a kill.
NC State has been playing from behind for most of this set, but they've been staying close since the timeout at 14-11. Draw it to 16-14, and now on serve with the big Bukalik jump serve.
And that's the key word, big serve.
That's right, big, and she really miscontacted that one. She is a top spin power, so when that ball is sailing on the float, things aren't going to end well. Certainly didn't on that serve.
Lucas Slabe wants to get out of here with a perfect weekend. Just within 2 weeks of the start of ACC conference play. That feels right around the corner. Tennessee gears up for hitting Ohio State in the next 2 weeks. So a busy month of September for the Volunteers. And a nice kill for guess who? Amanda Rice with her 3rd of the set.
Well, and that's one of the things that NC State can do is if they're not getting great success out of somebody like Bukalik or another pin hitter, well, go back to Amanda Rice. Amanda Rice, one of 3 players with 12 kills in the matchup earlier today against Elon.
And as a right side to be hitting 300, productive in her rotations.
And it speaks to the connection between she and the setter. And today, this afternoon, her connection was with Naomi Cabello.
And McDaniel gets the start at setter tonight. And the quick slide is scooped up by McDaniel. So Rice gets another swing off hands. 5 kills, 8 swings for Rice.
Rice really starting to feel it, and in this particular rotation, I don't think Tennessee has done anything wrong. Rice has been confronted by blockers, but she has foiled those blockers. She's varying her swings. She went high hands on that one. 3 kills in a row here in her rotation.
Lovett soars into the air and greatly dug out. And that goes out, so a kill for Ava Broussard. We see NC State tooling the block a bunch tonight, and it's been successful.
And that's smart work by the youthful freshman in Ava Broussard. Instead of trying to bang through that big block, experienced block, and that of Morgan Fingal, she goes right off the right hand of Fingal, gets the tool for the point.
So the Miami transfer, Priscilla Hernandez with the float serve. Lovett soars and hits it just in play. So that's point Tennessee. That was almost close to being blocked back in play on that near line.
It really was. Riley Schock was this close to having that block on the correct side of the net, but she wasn't quite penetrated enough over the net. Instead, it trickles in front of her. Point to Tennessee.
That's a joust, won by Tennessee, and an easy play for Granberry. One of the 3 freshman middles that we'll see from the Volunteers tonight.
And that pressure starts from Laborda.
And Paul, I see you under the table. You're saying NC State should call a timeout here?
I was thinking that they might call a timeout.
Just to break up the rhythm of what Tennessee's doing.
Exactly. They know Laborda is a good server. It's a weird service reception pattern for NC State.
That is one at the net. Riley Schock with a great play. She had 3 blocks earlier today, and now with her first kill.
Well, and she makes up for what was maybe a rocky touch just a moment ago. She's generally pretty steady. She's not going to make blocking errors over and over. One of her best assets, Riley Schock, is the block. She tallied several of those earlier today. She's really solidified herself as the best blocker on the NC State squad.
Hayward from her knees found Erica Lovett. And here comes Tennessee, 5 points from set 1.
Really back and forth is what these teams are doing now. They're trading points. Tennessee's not too thrilled with doing a trade of points in the opposing gym. They know at any time NC State could turn it on. So for that reason, we're going to get a substitution. It'll be Ashlyn King coming in to serve for Tennessee.
See Amanda Rice head to the bench. She had 5 kills in this set. And here's King, Murfreesboro, Tennessee product. That Schock on the slide, dug out by King. And now Lovett through a double team to the back row. What a swing by the Long Beach State transfer.
Smart work by her. Natalie Hayward came in, and Natalie was going to set, but Erica Lovett almost stepped in and made the play on the second touch. Instead, she waits, lets Natalie Hayward make the play. Lovett then goes bombs away, rips it down the right middle back for the point.
Eve Rackham-Watt, we mentioned she returns a young squad. Well, last year's team was very experienced. They did a great job at the end of SEC play. You look at the final standings, Kentucky had 1 loss all year to South Carolina, ran the table. When you look at this league, though, Paul, no team made it past the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament, and that was Florida, and yet here sits Tennessee right knocking on the door of that top 4.
That's right, and that was a little bit of a disappointing outcome for the SEC in general. I think hopes were a little bit higher for tournament play, but it was the ACC squads that shined a little bit. You talked about those big 3 in Pittsburgh. Of course, Louisville made it to the Final 4, and Georgia Tech. And now you see the preseason.
And Kentucky, the preseason favorites, have players all up and down the charts when you look at the national ranks. And then how about for Tennessee? Mahaffey, who's injured, but Hayward and Fingal, that's a nice trio of all SEC players.
That's right. If this Tennessee squad can get back to healthy, they'll be even better yet. Now, they've looked pretty good today, minus what Coach Rackham-Watt has said is that, we're not plagued by anything except we've got a lot of young players out there getting touches by the moment and learning the game at our level. But as you mentioned, getting Mahaffey back, get her healthy. Now you've got a monster in the middle that can really shore things up. As for now, though, Kiki Granberry is certainly holding her own in the middle for Tennessee.
Boy, that was rocketed off the right arm of Ava Broussard. The true freshman, team-high 6 kills.
Well, and that's a good answer by NC State, and the answer really had to do with the pass. Good pass like that, you've got setting options. In this case, it was McDaniel kicking it out to Ava Broussard on a little bit of tempo. And I talked about Kiki Granberry doing a good job on the block. She just was a little late because of the shoot tempo set to Broussard.
Late in this first set, Ava Broussard to serve for NC State. This is the 14th all-time meeting between the programs. They've traded off the last 3 years. And now here in Raleigh, let's see who can take set 1. Hayward goes back to Lovett, and she rockets one off the face of Broussard. Erica Lovett with some thunder from that right arm.
Well, and Lovett's looking really good these last several points. This is exactly why warm-up swings should not be the judge of what you can do in a game. Lovett, maybe not the best warm-up. She was loosening up, just trying to work her shots. Didn't look like she had a whole lot of rhythm. Bounced one, you know, as every player at this level can do. But now she's starting to turn it up, and at the right time.
And to your point, Lovett was hitting a negative hit percentage in the first 2 matches this weekend, and she's been nearly unstoppable. 5 kills on 10 swings.
Well, and I like that staying power from Erica Lovett and from Coach Rackham Watt to trust her to say, hey, just stick with it, continue to do what you do. That one, fantastic swing, 5 kills, no errors on 10 attempts.
The second service error of the set for Tennessee. The Volunteers had 11 service errors against Colgate earlier this morning. And that'll keep a young head coach and Eve Rackham Watt up at night.
This will be Martina Leoniak coming in on the serve. She's served only as a serving specialist this weekend. Now she is a powerful pin hitter who's working her way back from an injury. She had a great summer on the Polish national team.
She's been called the special pitch hitter from the service line. And an in-system kill for Tennessee. Granberry's been really good on those pipe plays. 3 kills, 4 attacks. And what NC State wants there is for Leoniak's serve to be so special, it doesn't allow Tennessee to hit the system.
Well, so that's another reason where Tennessee's side-out strategy there worked out really well. That block almost there from Jada Allen, but almost doesn't get it done. Only 2 points away is Tennessee from finishing things off.
Here's the jump serve of Jakaya Moore. She's a Nightdale product right here in the Raleigh area. And that sneaks through the hands. Good kill for Vanya Bukalik. So second kill for her tonight.
And anytime Bukalik can get back into rhythm, she can be pretty nasty. She's a very dominant hitter. Easily the most lengthy of outside hitters in the gym.
And Paul, her approach is from 20 feet away. She is so long and limbering. Gets a lot of momentum on that swing.
She does approach big, and one of the challenges when you approach big, if you're a front row blocker, is you also have to get back. It's a further way to transition to get back to hit. So there's a lot of work to be done when you're that long. With great gifts come great responsibility.
I see what you did there. Timeout, Tennessee, late in the set. A volunteer program, we mentioned graduating 3 starters, but they have had 2 seasons back-to-back of 20 wins. It's a little different group here in 2022. So, Paul, I think my $1 million question for you is, this early in the season, how do you translate early success? Evan Budrovich, Paul McDonald. These teams want to win tonight, but how do they take tonight's matchup and gear up for the start of conference play?
Well, I think for both teams, it's really a piecemeal, moving forward kind of stepwise action. I know that sounds a little windy. Both teams very young. You talk about the NC State team, again, trying to find cohesiveness with 11 newcomers on a 17-player roster. And same goes for Coach Eve Rackham Watt's team, very young team, trying to find cohesiveness out on the floor. What they take forward to the next weekend really has to do with just that stepwise cohesiveness for both teams.
NC State losing 2 key hitters, in Melissa Evans and Jade Parchment from a year ago. It has been by committee. You mentioned earlier today, 3 players with 12 kills. They all combined for 36. A little different story, though, when the competition amps up. Who's going to be your leading attacker and take that heavy dosage of swings?
That's right. For the last 5 years, it had been Melissa Evans, the career leader in kills for NC State. So now, scoring by committee is NC State. As you mentioned a little bit earlier, NC State lost more than 11 kills per set due to graduation last year. One of the players you didn't mention was another outside hitter in Taylor Rowland, also who graduated. So all three primary pin hitters for NC State all finished their careers at the same time.
Daniel on the float serve. Hayward is great at the setting position. Preseason all SEC tees it up. And that stays in to the far line, so point NC State.
Well, and there's the angle that Bukovic missed earlier, and also Brizard wanted it earlier, so NC State definitely target the space between the left back and left front. Perfectly swung there, and that ball absolutely touched the side edge of the sideline.
Timeout, Tennessee. So both teams have exhausted their timeouts in this matchup. It tells you the psychological and the mental games that go on between two power conference foes.
Well, and this is really the nightcap and the big game of the tournament. All the tournament matches were big. I was really impressed with Elon and also with Colgate, but I think when someone looks at the schedule, their eyeballs on this weekend for NC State, it goes to Tennessee. Tennessee, their eyeballs go to NC State, and we've really been given a treat. Both squads hitting at reasonable levels. Tennessee at a 242 attack percent. NC State really only notches below at 225. Ava Brizard leading the way for NC State. 6 kills, hitting at a nice 417 attack percentage.
And Paul, how has Brizard gotten herself involved? Because she's hit from the back row, the right side, the left, the offo, really doing everything.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. She already comes in as kind of a Swiss Army knife shoulder. She can roll. She can be very deceptive on the tip, but then she can bring the heat with anybody in this gym, both on the angle and down the line. Mix in that back row attack, and you've got a well-rounded freshman outside hitter in Ava Brizard.
The two-time Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year. Not only a talented freshman in the eyes of Lucas Slave, but one who's very confident in her game. And we've seen it playing all 6 rotations.
That's right, confident and focused. One of the things that Coach Slave remarks about her in practice, she's so focused, sometimes you gotta whistle just to get her to listen to the coaching staff.
Yeah, Lucas said he has to raise his voice to get her attention because she's on to the next drill right away. Oh, that touches the floor with ease. Candace Booth to the roof.
Wow, and we haven't called the name Cadence Booth in quite a few minutes, but for Booth, fantastic swing. But I like that set even better. That set was so fast, splitting the block of Jada Allen and Amanda Rice.
Set point, Tennessee. McDaniel goes way outside. And now the Volunteers swing for the set. It's Booth. The tip shot is kept up. Hayward tees back outside. And a net violation on NC State gives the first set to the Volunteers, who hit 257. It's the Lovett and Booth show. And the Volunteers take set 1, 25-22.
Well, between Lovett and Booth, still flawless. Not a single attack error to their name. 10 kills total between them. Booth hitting at 455. Erica Lovett at 500. And if you're Tennessee, you're loving that production from your 2 outside hitters.
Well, are you not entertained? Quality first set when we come back. Set 2 from Raleigh. It's the SEC versus the ACC. And a good battle so far here in Raleigh. To Raleigh here at Reynolds Coliseum. First set stats. The real difference, Paul, and maybe the blocks don't tell the whole story, but Tennessee's front line was crucial in winning the set for the Volunteers.
It really was. Now, statistically, Tennessee has one more block than NC State. However, Tennessee touched up a few more of the NC State attacks, touching the balls off the block so that they could generate rallies and continue the rally. I think that was the difference for Tennessee, and it really starts with the two young middle blockers in Kiki Granberry. Good start for her on the block, and then you got to mix in the other middle blocker in Pollock, who did a fantastic job as well. So now you've got redshirt freshman Pollock and freshman Granberry getting the work done in the middle. And I tell you what, if you're Coach Eve Rackham-Watt, you got to be pretty pleased with your two youthful middle blockers.
Playing without your all-conference middle, Danielle Mahaffey, who's out with a leg injury this weekend.
Absolutely.
We mentioned Eve signing the contract extension. Well, she signed the number 8 recruiting class in the country this summer. So you bring on 4 more years, and I think Tennessee fans are very pleased with what Eve Rackham-Watt's brought to the table.
I think they have, and I think that signing or re-signing for Coach is very well deserved. She has earned her way as a Volunteer.
And she comes by way of Chapel Hill, 8-year assistant from 09 to 17. We asked her, hey, what restaurant do you go to when you're back in town? She said, I don't really have any favorites, but I do love being back in the Raleigh areas. There's a kill for the 6'6" giant, Vanya Bakulik.
So instead of the Bukulik serve, I see the coaching strategic change here. Instead, Hannah Wander is going to come in and serve now that Bukulik has rotated to the back row.
Bukulik's been impressive when she's been swinging in system. So is Booth as she rockets one off Hernandez. And the roll shot's kept up. Good feisty play by Hayward. And a kill for Amanda Rice. She had 12 kills this morning, 6 more here tonight.
And Rice really started to heat up late in that first set here moments ago. So Rice picks up right where she left off.
That's an in-system beauty. We talked about involving the middles. Well, Claudia Pollock collects her second kill.
First ball side out there. It starts with a perfect pass. Pollock in good position to receive the set from Hayward.
Natalie Hayward, what a weapon. 56 assists in her first 2 matches, and she keeps feeding. On the overpass, Lovett puts it down. There's a lot of power in this Tennessee team.
Well, and they're really starting to feel it. Maybe they didn't have the best weekend coming in. I feel like they could have played a little bit better in the victory over Elon. Colgate definitely outmatched Tennessee in that one. So I think there's still a little bit more room for growth in Tennessee. And unfortunately for Coach Lucas Slave, he's seeing it out of Tennessee right now. Tennessee has really taken a step in the right direction.
Lost in straight sets, NC State did to Tennessee last year. The Volunteers were all over the place, hitting 340, real productive. Fengel had 16 kills in that match. Hernandez on a bump set, finds her freshman counterpart, and that's scooped out. Now the bump here from Paola Laborda, which results in a kill. Great defense for the Volunteers, tees it up for Morgan Fengel.
Good swing by Fengel. That's the open shoulder lefty swing there. So that hard angle makes perfect sense. Really overwhelming Kristen McDaniel.
Not as much height in this rotation for NC State at the net. And Rice does her part, tooling the block.
So the lefties are the ones being showcased out on the floor. Of course, you've got Amanda Rice with the kill there a moment ago. And then you got Morgan Fengel, who's still trying to get on track. She's hitting in the negative so far this evening. So Fengel's still trying to find her groove out on the floor.
That's a long set to Lovett, who tools the block. How about Natalie Hayward putting that in great position for her 14th assist?
There's a reason why she's preseason All-SEC as a setter. This location here is on the money and with some tempo.
Hayward was 4th in the conference last year, chasing Abby Maharma of Alabama for the most assists in the conference. And she returns this year as the leader among all active players, so clearly experienced for the Rocky Top setter. I believe that went into the net, but play continues. Long run to find her freshman attacker. And Hayward bumps it over. McDaniel goes middle. Nice dig by Laborda. Ooh, and the roll shot sneaks through. Productive set for Morgan Fingal.
And I look at long rallies like that, and I think about what the key play was, and it's going to get overlooked. It's the dig from Cadence Booth. Cadence Booth in the middle back made a diving save to keep the rally alive. Otherwise, that is an NC State point. She keeps it up with a diving stab. The rally continues, eventually the point.
So Lucas Slava has issued a challenge card here. This will be earlier in the play.
So the challenge is a net touch up on the side of Tennessee. So we'll await the review of that on that long, long rally.
No net touch there.
I think it's going to be good, and I think the only net touch that took place, which is legal, is the hair of Kiki Granberry caught a little bit of the net on her turn away.
Because you see the net shaking in the middle of the play.
Yes, and some of that is the ball rattling the net along with that hair touching the net. It may be perceived as a body touch. I think this call is going to stand.
With you, Paul McDonald, I don't have to worry about your hair touching the net, but here with Kiki Granberry, there's plenty of options.
Yes, with me, that is not an issue and will never be an issue. But the net touch for the wonderful Kiki Granberry. Now, I don't know what else to say, but she has to deal with that challenge and that misunderstanding of a net touch or not. And as you joked, absolutely not an issue with this guy. I worry that when they put the light on me for the video, that there's going to be a glare and a video issue.
Well, we made it through the open, so that's good news.
We
As
did.
we wait for our official explanation.
We did.
And now a second look from Michael O'Connor, our R2.
And they're really watching this closely. I think on any net touch, you just have to continue to review it, slow it down, get to the frames that you want. And the other part of it is it was such a long rally, they first have to find which point they're looking to discuss, and they can discuss other components of the rally as well. So that might be a part of why this is so lengthy.
It was quite the rally, though, as it ended with the Granberry kill.
It is, and I think we can highlight what the rules are for these official challenges or replays. Each team is awarded 2. If they are correct, they do not lose it. And if they have less than 2 heading into the 5th set, they're awarded another one.
So Tennessee keeps the point.
Yep, the call confirmed.
The confirmed call. If it goes to the 5th set, however, each team gets an extra challenge, which I think is a new element that makes it really interesting as a coach.
That's right. So if you've used 1 or 2, you'll get 1 back.
So as you see, NC State with 1 challenge remaining. And Laborda to serve. Rice, great defense by Hayward. And Fingal blasts one off the hands and in. Back-to-back kills for Morgan Fingal.
And Fingal starting to get hot. That is not what NC State wants. Morgan Fingal now finally in the positive for attack percentage. Look at her again attacking on that hard angle. McDaniel, for the 2nd time in a row, hasn't been able to handle the big lefty swing of Fingal.
Laborda, who has 5 aces when these teams met at Georgia Tech, helps Reed into a point with that overpass. Tennessee's done a better job serving here in set 2.
Yep, they put the pressure on this service-receive pattern with Hannah Wander in the middle, along with Ava Buzard and the libero, Priscilla Hernandez on the right.
A quick timeout for NC State. We'll take it as Tennessee wins set 1 and off to a fast start in set 2 on this great Saturday night of volleyball in the SEC versus ACC. Here's our Week 2 college football lineup for next Saturday on ACC Network in the ESPN app. Number 16 Miami hosts Southern Miss, the new Sun Belt squad at New Eastern. Then Furman heads to Death Valley to take on number 4 Clemson. Western Carolina and Georgia Tech on the network at 7. Today's capped off by our prime matchup, BC Virginia Tech. And how about Devin Leary today? Win over ECU, found a way to get it done for his Wolfpack team.
Hey, the numbers don't have to be flashing. It's about the dubs, especially in a key in-state rivalry like NC State versus ECU.
And it's about special teams. If you saw the end of that matchup, as that ball rolls off the net to a special finish for Ava Brizard.
Well, Ava Brizard swung about as hard as she could. That ball trips on the tape, and of course now both teams are just holding the breath. There's no defense in sight. So for NC State, it's where will it fall, in or out? Tennessee hoping it'll sail out. Instead, point to NC State.
Tennessee won the first set, 25-22. And here in the second set, the Volunteers are hitting .538 as a team. That set brought down Hernandez to the floor. And great self-defense. Finds the little man. That ball almost was kept up. Point NC State.
Fingal and Lovett both looked at each other. They both thought they could knuckle it. I think either one of them were in a position to get it, but it was a stare down, and then instead that ball went to the floor. That's one they'd like back. They weren't in the best position to dig it up as if it was going to be an in-system perfect play, but up is better than down. And they don't want to give any momentum to NC State or any free points, especially, I can't say enough, in the away gym where NC State finds themselves behind.
Hayward goes backside, and that shot long. That's the first hitting error for Tennessee in this set.
I like the idea from Morgan Fingal. She was going deep, high angle. And of course, she got under it just a little bit. That ball sailed on her.
Eve Rackram-Watt, who's coached 37 all-conference selections in both the ACC and the SEC, leans on her talented outside hitter Morgan Fingal. It's a Tennessee squad that was preseason 3rd in the SEC conference, and while clearly not fully healthy, she thinks this club can continue that rise once September ends and October comes along.
I really think they have that potential. I think, like you said, getting healthy will help. Just getting used to roles. Bella Laborda, in her first year as libero, she's seen great responsibility that grew throughout the NCAA tournament late last year, so now she's getting used to that consistent role of being on all the time as the libero. Things will only improve for this squad as they get that experience.
That goes under the net, so point NC State. Tennessee loses or graduates middle blocker Ava Bell, outside hitter Brianna Runnels, and Lily Feltz, all 3 starters, along with a starting libero. So there's a lot of moving pieces for the Volunteers.
There is. A big piece of that was Lily Feltz, who for her graduate year now is at Florida Gulf Coast. She was a 6-row outside hitter, a little undersized, but reliable on the pass, feisty as a hitter. So you're also losing that leadership, graduating that leadership on the side of Tennessee. They've got to find that leadership and find where those kills are going to come from.
And tipped at the net. So point NC State. Lean on the 6'6" outside talent. Bukalik's fun to watch when she gets up and swings away.
That's right. I think the key for her is that timing. If she can time her approach, she's going up and over almost every blocker she faces.
Because no player on this court can outreach her, so she can touch hands all day and get points.
That's right.
That goes off the hands of Schock there. Bukalik down line for the kill, and that's pretty.
And Fingal took one look at it. It zipped over her shoulder. At first she thought it was going to sail out. As soon as she turned her shoulder, she knows she let one go. Great rip by Bukalik. Hitting angle most of the day. Now she rips it down the line for that point.
Bukalik's averaged 4 points per set. What makes her so dynamic as an outside threat?
Well, it's really that length. When she can transition and get out and take a quality approach, she's hitting big. She's hitting at the peak of her reach. She's an absolute threat for NC State.
And now on the slide, that's a point for NC State. McDaniels did a nice job in this second set of targeting her key hitters.
And that's what McDaniel really does so well, is she has been able to find the hitting windows of attackers. It's not just about getting the ball up. It's not just about hustle. She does all of those things. She's delivering balls in hittable areas where her attackers have the best opportunity to take a swing.
So Brizard and Rice have 8 kills, and Bukalik's following suit with 6 herself. Tennessee has surrendered the lead in this set. And a nice dig by Hernandez. In system for the kill. I tell you what, Natalie Hayward can tee it up as good as anybody. Team captain for 2 years and puts it right in the perfect position.
And she's so steady. Even after long rallies, diving, making digs, she's back in position, perfectly locating the ball in the middle for Granbury.
Kiki has 20 kills in this tournament. You're counting yesterday and then earlier this morning. It's a young middle blocking tandem for Tennessee. And yet they found some roles here as true freshmen. Boy, Bukalik can hit it 100 miles an hour, but she launches that one out of play. That's the challenge that Lucas Labe told us this week. When she is on, it's downline shots, cross-court swings. When she's off, it's out of play and out of the building.
That's right, and that's what she has to corral. She just has to control that great reach, and sometimes that takes years of refinement.
Ooh. Mistimed the set there. Shaka was looking one way, and that's the challenge when you trade off setters every match. We've seen it this weekend from NC State with McDaniel and then Cabello trading matches.
I think for NC State, trying to find their rhythm, part of it is determining which setter to use. And as Coach Slabe had mentioned, he might use both of them throughout the season. They both bring different dynamics to the floor.
And then you serve it up to 6'6". Doesn't matter where you put it, she can find a way to put it down.
And after an 8-3 start for Tennessee, NC State has closed to within 1. It's 12-11.
So Riley Schock serves a low line drive. And a back row swing for Lovett is in. Boy, Tennessee can swing from all different spots on the court.
And the bench of NC State is debating whether or not to discuss, whether or not to challenge that law. Well, they decide not to.
Now Morgan Fingal, dynamic 6-row player. 5 kills, only hitting .071, but when she's locked in, it's tough to stop. McDaniel has options, goes to the slide, and off the block. Good swing there by Jada Allen, her first kill.
Good timing by Jada Allen. Whipping out on that slide, she was in position to take a swing. Properly plants her left foot on the leap, turns with the right knee. Textbook slide action from Jada Allen.
The reigning all-ACC freshman team performer. And Lucas Labe said this week, can she be consistent? That's the difference to unlock her greatness in year 2.
That's right. She shows moments of fantastic play, but then moments where maybe it's not as much. So the next step for her is, can she do it on every play, on every set, every block?
Rice goes off hands. Lovett tries to save and to kill for Amanda Rice, who now has 9. kind of sneaks up on you for Rice at 8 last night, 12 today, and 9 more here in 2 sets.
Rice really leading the way. She seems to come in spurts, and not just for the 3 rotations that she's in the front row. It really just depends on the setting, and when McDaniel feels like she has found Rice in a one-on-one situation.
Ooh, look at that power dump by Natalie Hayward. She has 35 career double-doubles, digs, and assists, and she's a dynamic player.
Well, and that shows it there. Besides the dig assist double-double, she's an offensive threat, and I like that sneaky threat. Not doing it too often, but if NC State's going to sleep in their defense, then she's going to go ahead and do it.
Jada Allen gets up with some authority. 2 kills, 2 swings.
It's a pretty good run for Jada Allen. And the other thought for NC State, who Coach Slaby overtly admits they don't feed their middles a whole lot. This year they're going to go to them more if the passing is as good as it has shown early on this season.
Nice touch by Hernandez, the team captain at libero. One of the many transfers for the Wolfpack out of Miami, and that ball finds the floor. Somehow it works for Claudia Pollock. She's also 6'6", and maybe actually outset her, but she got her fingertips on it.
She did. Good reach there.
The luxury of having athleticism. Hit 364 this weekend, 10 kills, so when she gets in position, dangerous to stop. McDaniel goes to Rice and off hands for the point. With Lovett being such a short blocker on that right side, she has to invest so much. It's hard to stop Rice on that matchup.
She really does, and Rice maybe overstepped that approach. She was underneath it. Rice really had to snap with her left arm just to get that ball back in play. Gets the tool off of Lovett for becoming the first player in double digits here today. She's got 10 kills.
Ooh, someone's got to get this over, and Brazard scoops it out. McDaniel tried for it, another kill for Morgan Fingal, now has 6.
NC State out of sorts on that one. I think they've been playing from behind all set. Sometimes when you tie it up, when you've been behind for the greater portion of the set, you almost feel like mentally that's a victory. But you have to defeat that mindset and know that you've only tackled half of the problem.
You've gotten back to the neutral point.
That's right.
Of being within 1.
That's right.
8-3 Tennessee early.
That's right. You're back in it, but that has nothing to do with whether or not you win it.
Amanda Rice misses long on that swing. First hitting error for NC State. They've been swinging 460 in the set. I love the color schemes tonight. Just a great visual here on ACC Network Extra. And Rice comes soaring onto your screen for the kill.
And she taps that ball down, set maybe just a fraction tight, but it doesn't make a difference. She's able to get it done. Well, now substituting in for McDaniel in the front row is going to be Naomi Cabello. So Cabello will set in what is a 5-2 system if used in this manner. So Cabello, the bigger block, subbed in the front row as the setter when we come back.
Timeout Tennessee. When we come back, finish up set 2. Nice matchup back and forth. Volunteers and Wolfpack here on ACC Network Extra. So here's what's cooking around the NCAA tonight. Top 25 matchups aplenty, including Kentucky taken down by USC Trojans in straight sets. South Carolina, very good SEC squad, in a battle with Wake Forest right now over in Winston-Salem, and then BYU Pitt. That could be the best match of the tournament of the week of the year coming up tonight.
Yep, fantastic matchup by two top 10 squads, as you can see there. Pittsburgh looking to continue their success non-conference as they prep for opening of the ACC in a couple of weeks.
Pitt made its first ever Final Four last year. That's an elite rising program in the ACC. And Kentucky, national championship tenure, 2020. I guess in the 21 spring, technically, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
As there's an ace for Amanda Rice. She's having a nice set here for the Wolfpack.
Amanda Rice just continues to play steady ball. Great serve by her. And again, NC State playing from behind. They continue to tie it up, but they have yet to open up any better than a 1-point lead.
Hayward goes backside and in to the far line. Morgan Fingal with her 7th kill.
Well, and who do you go in crunch time? You got to go to Fingal. Fingal, fantastic swing down the line, as you see there for NC State. NC State giving line, and Leoniak giving a little bit of that line out on the floor, showing a different look to Tennessee. But regardless, Tennessee still prevailed. So Leoniak out, Brizard back in, Cabello out, McDaniel back in. So NC State working the substitutions.
15 substitutions per set. Keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
And NC State's used aplenty here late in the second set.
And we may see another setter sub after the service reception is over.
So Ashlyn King to serve, the Murfreesboro product. Freshman off hands. It's scooped up by Matoso. And Lovett's dump finds the floor. The crafty ability of Erica Lovett to not only power balls down, but hit with no errors has been impressive tonight.
Well, and she has been flying through the sky on her approach. And besides flying around, her accuracy is even better. She has transitioned properly. She's making great approaches on the attack. So far, Lovett looking solid, hitting at a 474 clip.
It was so raucous in here, our head referee said, hey, DJ, you got to turn that down on the serve here, but I like the intensity of the building here in Reynolds Coliseum. That is rocketed for a kill. Ava Brizard up to 9.
High angle swing from Brizard. So Brizard with good command over the court and her attacks. She's been cutting, ripped a couple line. Now this high angle shot, she did go off speed earlier on in the first set. Abigail Matoso in the middle of the service reception pattern. I'd expect Matoso or Lovett to see the ball on this serve from Brizard.
Bukalik in for NC State in the front row for these 3 rotations. Little joust with size, won by Tennessee. And now from the back row, rips a missile in. Brizard's feeling it for her 10th.
And that is a wonderful pipe set. The set is not done very high, so it's almost like a quick set to the back row. Brizard prepared to take this. And the decoy from Schock really sells it. When Schock is up in the air, the blockers freeze with her. That gives room for Brizard to finish it off.
Hayward goes back row Fingal. Both teams hitting at a high clip, each over 400 in this set. Wait. It falls down that time. Tennessee with a 20-19 lead.
Quality hustle, but not quite enough to get the job done.
Slide to the left, slide to the right, reverse, reverse.
And this is a good substitution besides the singing fancy of Evan Budrovich here.
I'm not going to be American Idol anytime soon, that's for sure.
Well, hey, this is your audition, Evan. This is your audition. And
here on a great night for college volleyball. Tennessee and NC State, as Lovett's service error ties us up at 20.
it's still a good situation for Tennessee. Lovett has had some good front row rotations, but she rotates to the back row on defense. That brings in the much longer Cadence Booth.
We showed you the South Carolina Wake Forest score. So this match is now the 8th meeting of the season, SEC ACC. It's 4-2 in favor of the Atlantic Coast Conference, but that could change in a hurry with 2 matchups tonight. Tennessee wants to grind out a second set and jump ahead 2-0. And Lucas Lave, he wants to earn his second win against an SEC foe in his tenure. The conference ties are amazing. Tennessee eliminated North Carolina last year from the conference tournament. Another ball in my booth here.
Well, besides the American Idol audition a moment ago, and now you're getting involved in the game. I tell you what, you are making a big impact here today. Kaya Moore on the serve with the virtual ace that may not go into the book as an ace, but instead a great serve, her coming in to pick up the point. Tennessee with the 2-point lead.
So we've seen some amazing fans across the ACC, and now we need your help. This fall, ACC Network wants to experience each sport from your perspective. So snap a picture, take a video, you name it, tag us with the hashtag #AllTheDevotion, and post it on social media. You might just see on ACC Network this year. And if you send me pictures of those kids having fun with popcorn, I'll put it on tomorrow, right? I mean, look at that. How can you not enjoy college volleyball, students back on campus for these programs, and plenty of excitement here in the ACC and the SEC.
Well, and I love the shot of that Syracuse orange on the bottom left with the orange mohawk. And
I think those students are excited. How about that?
Oh, yeah, those guys are into it.
How could you not be? Second week of the volleyball season. College football's back.
Yes, it has. And it's been a compelling game, too, for sure. When you talk about compelling, Tennessee would love to take a 2-0 lead over NC State. They lead 22-20. Leading the way for Tennessee, Erica Lovett, 9 kills, still no errors against her. She's hitting at a clean 450 attack percentage. Still only 5 attack errors total for Tennessee in this match. You make that few attack errors, you're going to have a good day. Tennessee certainly has so far.
That's been the Erica Lovett show for the head coach, Eve Rackamwat. She told us pregame this is a young group figuring out its depth and rotations, and yet they've risen to the occasion tonight.
They really have. And they do look a little bit better than what we saw earlier today against Elon, and then also against Colgate. Pardon me, earlier today against Colgate.
The roof for Tennessee. And that's Booth with a block.
That's a great answer by Tennessee. So 2 service points from Kaya Moore. And the solo block.
And the celebration for Booth. Even the bench is getting the feeling on that one. 4 blocks for the Volunteers tonight. McDaniel goes back row. That's a tough assignment. McDaniel, the dump, is down for the point.
And that stops the run for Tennessee. McDaniel's going to go back to serve. So a good blocking rotation here for NC State. Bukalik, along with Rice and Jada Allen, fronting the NC State squad.
Tennessee won set 1, 25-22, at a very similar second set. So here's Kristen McDaniel to serve. One of the 4 seniors on this roster. And the dump goes into the net, a rare mistake for Natalie Hayward, I should say.
Natalie Hayward's ball went into the net, and Pollock actually had a chance to play that because Hayward's swing was only the second touch. So Pollock actually hit it into the net. There was a chance she could have knuckled it over. Again, a very low percentage possibility, but it was still available to her.
We told you it's a matchup of heavy hitters in the ACC and the SEC conference. And we noted the SEC earlier. Let's give you a sense of how the Atlantic Coast Conference shook up. Louisville and Pitt, Final Four teams from a year ago. We told you Georgia Tech is a top 5 preseason program. Then it's a race to who can join the party in the middle. Florida State, NC State, Notre Dame, Duke is going to have a bounce back here. There's a lot of teams that could rise in this Atlantic Coast Conference.
That's right. Then mix in Miami. So we just rattled off 5 teams in the middle of the pack, all looking to get relevance and sneak up into the top of that second tier in the ACC. And I do think that top of that second tier would get them a bid.
Well, you want dynamic matchups. There are plenty in this conference. BYU will face Pitt and Georgia Tech in the next 2 weeks, and then Louisville with a huge test against Purdue. That should be a great matchup.
Yep, Louisville getting matches tomorrow against Ohio State, and then again that Purdue matchup. So Louisville not afraid to battle with the Big Ten. 2 strong squads, 2 tournament teams in Ohio State and Purdue.
Ohio State, who eliminated Tennessee from NCAA tournament last year in the second round. So a lot of teams that went deep into the tournament last year on that screen, which is really neat that they get to face this early in the season. And NC State, who would love to get back to the NCAA tournament. Ooh, Fingal from the 10-foot line uncorks her 10th kill.
Oh, and you see her react after that. She pumps her left fist, and that was a big play. And I think part of it is when you hear your name called in the timeout, hey, we want to go to you, and you get jacked up to take that swing, and when you execute, what a great feeling. Fingal earned it with that back row attack.
The float serve nearly wins the set, and it does. An ace for Tennessee. A 2-0 lead for the Volunteers, who do it with offense here in set 2.
Can't say enough about the Fingal swing a moment ago, and then serve, of course, to finish it off. Quality finish from Tennessee. They took that 23-20 lead, and they never looked back. Traded points to now a 2-0 set lead.
We'll take the timeout. Highlights, stats, and recap from the first 2 sets. How about the Volunteers bouncing back from a loss earlier today? They've looked really good through 2. We'll have more from Raleigh when we return on ACC Network Extra.
Welcome back to Reynolds Coliseum. Tennessee victorious in sets 1 and 2 by identical 25-22 tallies, led by Erica Lovett. 9 kills for the Tennessee Volunteers, hitting a smooth 450 on the attack. After top 25, of course, we talked about the Big Ten, we talked about Ohio State and Purdue, but of course Nebraska leads the way so far this season, the ACC. Louisville looking good as they return along with Pittsburgh right behind them. And then Big 12 play, can't forget about Texas. Texas is just loaded top to bottom. Their recruiting class includes a fantastic transfer in the libero that came from UCLA, really carrying the way for Texas.
There's the upcoming volleyball slate on the ACC network and the ESPN family of networks. I tell you what, that Ohio State-Louisville match will be really good. And I'm intrigued with the Nebraska-Kentucky game because both those teams were national finalists in the last 2 seasons. So there's a lot of intensity and passion, and there's no better place to play than Nebraska. So that should be a really fun night with those two coming up in 2 weeks.
That's right. And in fact, for NC State, interesting connection. Jeremiah Ganadakis, the assistant coach now for NC State, was an assistant for Nebraska last year on that team that made it to the finals. So obviously he's keeping an eye on his old school. And yes, absolutely, that matchup is super intriguing. I'd really like to catch that one in a couple weekends.
Well, stay on ESPN then. We got plenty of them the next 2 weeks. Tennessee leads 2-0 thanks to large part to Erica Lovett. 9 kills, no errors tonight. She's been dynamic.
Well, the 9 kills is great, but the no errors is really the most important part. She is the outside hitter who you would expect to get stuffed a couple times, maybe hit a ball out, but instead Lovett has been leading the way for that Tennessee squad. Now, pick it up with Morgan Fingal. Had a slight start in set 1. She was hitting negative until late in set 1. She's really righted the ship. Probably the most important kill was point number 24 of this second set out of the back row. Really energized Tennessee. They went on to win the second set. So Fingal really turning it on. 8 kills on the day.
Countering for NC State, it's a younger side of the court, but Amanda Rice has stepped up. A match high 11 kills. How's she gotten it done?
Well, she's really gotten it done in a lot of ways. That set there down the line, an easy play. She's had to swing from behind a couple of times, and she's still found a way. One of the responsibilities of any pin hitter is to find some way to get the ball over and cause pressure and havoc on the opponent. Amanda Rice has been the best at that for NC State today.
Giving you a sense of how dynamic Rice can be. She's hitting 300 in this tournament, the last 3 matches, so stepping up when her team needs it from the right side. And here we go, set 3. We came in predicting, Paul, 4-5 set match. It looks like Tennessee's taken over, especially late in sets.
It really has been. I wouldn't expect anything less than an answer from NC State, but Tennessee knows that that's coming, so we'll have to see if Tennessee elevates their game another notch here in the third.
Whoa, Booth with the block. You talk about elevating. That's the 5th team block for Tennessee.
Yeah, you're right about that, and Booth was up high. All smiles, and I don't blame her on that one. That was a quality block against the aforementioned Amanda Rice. Good work by her and Claudia Pollock to close and get the stuff.
And those are important recruiting battles. Cadence Booth from Kernersville, North Carolina, a top 100 recruit in the country, and she chooses Tennessee. There's a swing block off the noggin there. Oh gosh, that might hurt for Pollock. And that ball goes in. Productive match for Amanda Rice, her 12th kill.
Yes, and this is our first introduction to Leoniak in the front row. Leoniak got the chance to take the big swing there. She's going to rotate to the back row and go on service.
And Lucas Slave told us this week he is very open to playing all 17 on his roster. Here's another example.
Right, also Lily Cropper in there, number 15. And Tennessee tests her right away. That's the middle quick from Claudia Pollock. Pollock goes around Lily Cropper for the kill.
Pollock was out last week due to COVID procedures, but she has come back big time. Nearly 20 kills in these 3 matches. So you factor in the injury to Mahaffey. Pollock out last week, playing on a 3rd and 4th string middle, and yet Tennessee found a way to win a match in that tournament.
Well, it speaks to the effort of the coaching staff. It speaks to the mental fortitude, I suppose, of the recruits that Coach Rackham-Watt brought in, of that staying power of, hey, even if things go bad or seem like they're not going our way, we're going to continue to fight. They're certainly doing that right now.
And this after a loss this afternoon to Colgate in 4 sets. As that ball slides through. It's been the Amanda Rice show, and she's in on that front row on the right side, getting a lot of touches from McDaniel.
Good work by the dynamic Rice. Rice last year, again, I can't say it enough, Rice was a very one-style attacker. She hit a lot wherever she was facing. So if she was running to the angle, she hit the angle. Now, starting to mix up her shots, no better than that one right there.
Long run here for the all-conference setter Hayward, and that's blocked in. What a sequence for Amanda Rice.
Well, the more you hear her name called, the more you start to wonder, is Rice surfacing as one of the top players today in this match? She may not be the top player all season.
And Paul, today, could Amanda Rice earn herself a 3 rotation? Could you make her an opposite as opposed to a right side?
You know, I think she can. She has seen some time serving. She has been set out of the back row, so she's seen some time out of that back row. The more impact she puts on with that attack, as long as she demonstrates the defense, that just gives one more wrinkle for Luka Slave to allow.
Because you as a coach from your Francis Marion tenure, you had that player who was serving red hot, who was playing well at the front row. Do you ever try to mix it up and change her style, or leave her in that spot and let her flourish?
I think you let them flourish. If they're elevating, you might add an extra opportunity if they're feeling it. See if you can open up the scope and get a little bit more out of them. But I think you stay within that realm of what they've developed, and then you slowly work into an added rotation, added opportunity.
You see Luka talking to his lead assistant, Megan Wargo-Kearney, on the bench. And here's Rice to serve. That floater gives some trouble for Lovett. And Fingal, an absolute missile. Morgan Fingal, Erica Lovett have been excellent working in tandem.
And Fingal stepping inside on that attack, so not hitting from out at the antenna. That's more of an inside high ball right behind Hayward, and the big bomb just overwhelms Amanda Rice on defense. And there's Fingal starting to get with it. She was hitting negative. I can't say enough how she's turned her game around today. She was hitting negative well into mid to late in the first set. Since then, lights out. She's upped her numbers to 238 and 9 kills on the day. And
McDaniel answers with a dump kill. So Kristen did not play the setter role in the match earlier today. She starred last night, 34 assists. How have you liked her performance today?
Well, so far so good. She is really more the quick setter, that ball, getting that ball fast out of her hands, working on that jump set, whereas Cabello brings a different component to her game. She's got a bigger block, and she takes that ball a little bit higher on that jump set. So 2 different looks that are shown by the 2 NC State setters.
Fingal tees up Lovett, but that goes long. And NC State now back in front by 1. A lot of conversation here with Erica Lovett, the new transfer, guiding this group.
And I like her work, really speaking loudly. She's been a key part of the service reception. You see her there awaiting serve from Ava Brazard.
And that's the challenge of this being week 2 of the season. 7 new faces for the Volunteers. And a kill for Lovett. She now has 10.
And all Lovett all the time. There's no reason not to set her. She is really feeling it. And out of that service reception pattern, not being served, all she has to do is step out comfortably and take a full approach. She does so and really hits hard into that block, sends that ball out of bounds.
Lovett, who transferred in the spring, but really her first full season here at Tennessee, and that's a major factor. Because Eva Rackham-Watt was very honest with us earlier today. I have so many new faces with 7. It's hard to find that chemistry right away. It's going to take us 2 to 3 weeks to play our best volleyball.
Yep, and she's working with that lineup, working with the middles, trying to figure out the chess and the domino match that goes with what rotation is best to start. And that takes a lot of work, and really the best way to see it is in the live play. You can scrimmage all you want internally inside your own gym, but until you see an opponent and you see how your team reacts to pressure, which Coach Luka Slave talks about, but when Tennessee sees that pressure like they did against Colgate, now against NC State, how are they adjusting? That really determines that starting lineup.
Well, Tennessee had 10 wins against top 50 opponents last year. They rose to the occasion in big matchups, and they're starting to do it here tonight.
They really are, and I think I mentioned it early in the first set. This is the best I've seen Tennessee play all weekend.
Rising to the bright lights of a great night in Reynolds Coliseum. NC State and Tennessee for the 14th time in program history. Really trying to work Leonic into this offense. And that goes out. Booth thought she got it in.
Yep. And Leoniak,
this will be challenged.
Yes. Leoniak hit 2 balls into the block just to keep the rally going instead of taking big cuts. And in the end, it's the attack from Booth that was originally called out in front of that line judge. And based on the review that we see, I think that's going to be overturned. I think that ball is in.
And I agree with you, but let's take a look. Yep.
I think that ball is going to be in. It's just a miss, and not to protect the line judge, but when a line judge is moving out of the way while trying to make a call, sometimes that blurs their judgment a little bit. I think that's where the mistake comes from that line judge. Good call on the replay request by Coach Eve Rack-Watt.
And the best part is if you win the challenge, you keep it. So you want to be incentivized to get these calls right, because you are rewarded as the call is overturned.
That's right, and that's the key, is did they get it right in the end? And they did. So
each team gets 2 challenges. You win the challenge, you keep it. Go to a 5th set, and you earn an extra challenge.
So much better than the prior rules, where that same system was
Well, I could think of 4 to 5 years ago where teams, some conferences didn't have challenge systems.
That's
with
right.
the right camera technology.
That's right.
Ooh, that goes off and lands in for the kill. What a response for NC State back within 1.
And they need to continue to respond because Tennessee is matching them punch for punch. Good swing by Leoniak. So now Lily Cropper into the game as the middle blocker. So NC State changing things up in that respect. Back to serve Kristen McDaniel.
Martina Leonak out of Warsaw, Poland, becoming a factor here in set 3. One of the many places you find great volleyball. It is unique. Dug out by Hernandez. And the roll shot falls in. Leoniak coming alive in set 3.
Good idea by Leoniak. She had been hitting long and wide to the sidelines on her last couple of attempts. This one, just a little mini roll shot. And the other benefit of Leoniak
is her celebrations.
Well, her celebrations for sure, but also that elevation. She is high up in the air. She gets a chance to survey the court, get the block in her peripheral vision, and then in this case, she recognizes that the defense is on its heels just a little bit, mixes in the roll shot for that ball that goes to the point. And like you said before, surfacing as one of the best celebrators for NC State too.
She started 8 matches at Hawaii last year, and you know how good that program is in the Big West.
Well,
now moves across to the ACC.
That's right. They know how to celebrate in Hawaii too.
I mean, we can go there and do a little test if you need to. Me and you can take a week on the company dime.
Sounds good.
We'll charge the conference, not NC State. That would be a little out of budget.
Yeah, you send that message to the ACC as soon as you can.
Nice dig by Lovett, but it goes over. And McDaniel back set. That results in a kill. Amanda Rice with 14 kills tonight.
Monster swing from Amanda Rice. That one on the hard angle. Opens up that left shoulder and then rips. Overwhelming Fingal here on this swing.
It's a late cover for Booth. Really no chance to stop that one-on-one. And that's the presence of a quality right side hitter. Dump set. It's kept alive and freed over McDaniel. Power to the floor by the setter, Natalie Hayward.
Well, that was almost a highlight reel play. Ava Brizard from her backside has to set it. It's all she can do to make the save. Sets it cleanly.
And then the anticlimactic ending right here.
Natalie Hayward finishes it off.
And how about the presence of a new Polish outside hitter? Nice attack for Martina Leonak.
She is making her presence known, and she's going to do it from the service line now. hasn't had the greatest success serving. She was a serving sub earlier today. This is her first chance to get a full rotation on offense before the serve.
Leoniak floats one in. Hayward goes to her target, and that's slammed to the floor. Morgan Fingal up to 10 kills.
Love that set from Hayward. That is the sole rotation where Fingal stays on the left, not only in service reception, but she would stay out there for the entire rally, but she finishes it off. First ball side out.
The preseason all-conference SEC Morgan Fingal, 20 matches this year with double-figure kills. She has her third of the tournament. And a block for Fingal, extending the long arms right there. I think Fingal got 6 inches in front of the net. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's fantastic penetration. That is textbook on the block. The further you can get over the net, better chance is that when the ball hits your hands, it goes down on the opposing side.
Morgan Fingal from Fairfax, Virginia. She grew up in a military family. Lived all across the country and the world. Oh, there's a kill in system. Lily Cropper, the young freshman, steps up.
That's right. Insiders on the team call her Lil Crop. Lily Cropper bombs that one. Fantastic work. And also, I really like the deception from Kristen McDaniel. McDaniel had been going pins almost exclusively. So then working Cropper for the wide open swing and the finish.
Lily Cropper, all-state in volleyball and track and field in her high school career in Ohio. And these are the substitutions Lucas Slava is not afraid to make late in a match as Erica Lovett continues her breakout effort. 11 kills, 8 digs on the night.
Lovett just continues to come with big offense. And really for her, it's the approach. If you want a textbook approach from a player that is maybe a 5'10", that's what you want to watch. She pulls out way wide on the court, takes a big approach, keeps the block in front of her, surveys the court, and gets the job done on that attack.
Wow, the net plays kind on the serve, and that's an ace for Paola Laborda. The effort there was really good from Hernandez, but she couldn't anticipate the bounce.
And Hernandez not feeling too good after going to the floor on that one. You can see she's a little bit shaken up. She doesn't want to show coach, but I think she's a little bit rattled. Might have caught her chin on the floor.
That Terraflex court, even though it's softer than wood, it can still get you.
It really can.
Now Hernandez targeted again on serve. And the Wolfpack need a point here, down to not only sets, but points in the third. There's a good dig by Hernandez. Broussard into the hands of the all-conference Hayward. And Lovett tips it up, pancakes alive. And that's over. Now Laborda on the bump to Fingal. Off the double and kept up. Another good defensive play, Tennessee. Lovett through the double and down.
Lovett, good work by her.
And we have a challenge here. NC State challenging.
So the challenge is a net touch against Tennessee.
So a footfall underneath the net, I believe, correct?
Yep, so it'll be a foot fault would be the challenge that the foot went all the way under.
And the way I'm in reviewing this would be on the swing from Lovett, correct, when she lands?
Yeah, but if the ball is down before she comes under, there's nothing wrong with that.
Everything seems clean right there. Oh, wait a second. So
That's
go back here. Yeah, to Fingal.
Well, and that's reviewable because it's part of the point. So if something else is discovered during the rally, now that part of the challenge can be allowed. If that is acknowledged as a net touch, then technically this should be balled it to NC State. Yep, and that's going to be the call. It's going to be, the call is going to be overturned because it was a net touch against Tennessee. So that'll be a point to NC State.
Well, I was ready to roll my drum to get the dramatic intro, but you gave us ahead of time, Paul. I like the insight you have there from our crew, giving us all the sights and sounds.
It is point NC State. That's right. Hey, I don't want to keep the viewer waiting when we know the answer, keeping everybody in such suspense.
That's how they made The Bachelorette such a popular show for 10 years, 20 years.
That's
it's
right.
The drama of who's going to get that final rose. I want to know the drama who's going to win the point.
I should have sold it just a little bit longer.
Hey, I appreciate you giving us the insight.
I'll drag it along next time, Evan.
With Lucas Lave winning the challenge, he does keep that one challenge remaining. So that's important here in the third set.
That's right, and in such a tight set, especially with NC State being down 2-0, every single point here, so critical.
Hayward goes backside and Fingal terminates. Her foot is clean that time and a point for Tennessee. We'll take our media timeout here. Tennessee up by 2 sets. And now trying to put away in the third. When we come back, the closing moments of set 3 here in Raleigh. Senior right side, Morgan Fingal, 11 kills tonight, taking over for the Volunteers.
And it's been from the back row and from the front row. You can see her power has really come up over time here. There's that back row swing. Can't say enough about Morgan Fingal and their out of service reception on the left. She can do it from anywhere, and I think that's what makes her such a big threat, is that it doesn't matter what rotation, where she's coming from. You got to keep at least one eye on Morgan Fingal at any time, and she has caught red hot. You see 11 kills for her, up to 292. It's important to note, she was hitting negative midway through the first set.
It counters the hot start from Amanda Rice for NC State. 2 right side attackers, really productive tonight. Now the Wolfpack need points here in set 3. Daniel to the far corner, punched by Laborda. And played over. Good dig. Another dump is kept up. Love it. Hits it long. No touch. Point NC State.
Good dig by Ashlyn King earlier on in that rally. So Tennessee fans are not happy. Paola Laborda has some words for the R1. The R1 actually, we have a good view of the R1. He was actually considering reaching for that yellow card.
And he checked with his line judge.
He did.
And the line judge says no touch.
That's right. And now Laborda not too happy about that. We're going to get a challenge on the touch. So.
And Eve Rackham-Watt, she wants the R1, the head referee, to make that call.
That's right.
Because he's looking straight down at the net.
That's right. That's the biggest frustration. If that call is being made at the middle of the net, somewhere that's obscured, he may still not be happy if it wasn't called. But
I don't see a touch there.
No, I don't either. So and Coach Rackham-Watt is not going to be happy about this, particularly when her team was so outwardly focused on the notion that it was touch.
Been a busy night for our officials here in this SEC ACC matchup. Atlantic Coast Conference has won 4 of the 6 meetings so far, with South Carolina and Wake playing tonight, and then of course Tennessee and NC State right here.
Some good matchups along the way. And you mentioned it, the officials do have their work cut out for them. Several challenges this evening. But the video review is really what you want in NCAA volleyball.
Yeah.
You know, you want to get it right, and officials make 99.9% of the right calls. It's that other 1%. Hey, if it takes a video review and it allows for a fairer game and the correct result, then I'm all for it.
So here we go. The decision has been made, and here's your call. See, isn't that more fun, Paul?
That's
when
right.
you build it up and you let it sit there and you make you think about it.
That's right. I had to let it simmer just a little bit longer this time. I'm learning.
A little inside production one-on-one for you. And that call is confirmed. No touch.
That's right. So it'll be Ava Brazard on the serve. We're going to get a substitution. So Naomi Cabello will come in as a blocking setter here in this rotation.
And that's where being 6'1" plays a factor.
That's right. They're going to try to set up Cabello on the right to try to slow down the attack of Lovett, who will be swinging out to the left. So it'll be Cabello versus Lovett.
And a service error actually changes that rotation. So now McDaniel comes in to set. Granted 15 substitutions per set. First to 25, win by 2. And Tennessee gets to 25, they win the match in straight sets. Tennessee swept the matchup when these teams met in Knoxville last year in an early tournament. Now bump set here from Hannah Wander. Ooh, and it finds the floor in the back row. That's a nice spot for Martina.
Yeah, good shot by her. She's already demonstrated a variety of swings. She's actually gone more off speed than she has power today, but hey, it doesn't matter if it's heavy or light. If it goes down, point's a point.
What a set by Hayward from her knees. And now the back row. A little miscommunication there. Point NC State as Laborda stepped in front of Lovett.
And that's the one that got away. There's been a little bit of a rhythm change since the challenge. Laborda was frustrated a couple points ago regarding a ball that was not called a touch. And since then, 2 points for NC State, 2 for 1.
Hayward goes near side, and that goes in. So Cadence Booth, 8 kills. She's hitting .370 tonight.
And 8 kills for her, no attack errors. So good living by her out on the outside. We haven't called her name a whole lot. We've talked a lot about Fingal and Lovett, but Cadence Booth quietly having a great and efficient day on the left side.
Back row attacks have been pretty for NC State. Another one for Brazard. And we asked, how could NC State find offense tonight? Well, Brazard's provided it with 12 kills.
And there's a lot of misdirection on that play. Cropper was sliding, kind of moving the block around. So Cropper showing slide, that frees up a little bit of space in the pipe. Ava Brazard puts the ball down.
33 kills on the weekend for Ava Brazard. That's 3 per set. She is a true freshman that looks ready to go here in week 2.
And she's all smiles there. She's pretty happy about that last swing.
That's the first smile I've seen all weekend from Ava.
Ever. Super focused and really dialed in is Ava Brazard.
I figured it'd be Priscilla Hernandez to get her to smile, the transfer setter out of Miami. Hayward, the dump, puts it down. And Tennessee, 7 points from the match. Natalie
Hayward in position, but she does what good setters do on a setter dump. Goes up with both hands, very deceptive. It looks like she didn't set it, and then at the last minute, out with the left hand to take that ball straight down.
You wonder the mental psyche of a team that dropped a 4-set match to Colgate in Tennessee. And the Volunteers have come surging. In the overall match, Tennessee's hitting .337 tonight. What a bounce back.
They certainly have rebounded, and we asked Coach Rackham-Watt right before this match, how are they handling the Colgate game and the poor result? Well, she said, well, we talk a lot with our team about how when the game's over, that's that. We got to get to the next one. And they've certainly gotten to this one in flying colors, looking really good.
Amanda Rice counters with her 15th kill. That's a team high.
Yep, and that's excellent work from Rice, and our producers really pointed out on that one. That's a really almost a slide rotation for her to get in position out of the opposite side of service reception.
She circled the wagons behind the entire back row to get that kill.
Literally.
McDaniel bangs into her own teammate. And Rice now with a new career high at NC State, 16 kills.
And besides those 16 kills, I can't say enough about the efficiency. Only 4 errors. She's hitting at 444 on the day.
That's what you need from a right side, 6 rotation player. That serve goes long, so Tennessee is tied at 19 apiece. What'll be the difference, Paul? Who can pull out these final 6 points?
It goes right back to serve and pass, and also really key here, Lovett gets 3 rotations. She just has come to the front row for Tennessee. Lovett having an outstanding match, now with 3 rotations in the front row.
Here's Booth to serve. Targets Leoniak, she responds. And Rice in system terminates. That's through a double team.
Rice with the angle on that one. She had been hitting high on the angle and a little bit of line. This time more of an angle slash cut, splitting the right back and right front defenders.
First time out of the set for Tennessee as Amanda Rice starts to take over.
Oh, and you can see she is pumped up there, and why wouldn't she be? She's really feeling it. Obviously, she's at a career high. Well, she's matched, she's already exceeded her career high, so she's just continuing to take that up. 17 kills now on the day for Amanda Rice.
ACC PM is ACC Network's new afternoon studio show. Mark Packer hosts along with former Tar Heel standout Trey Boston, former Seminole Taylor Tannenbaum. They'll focus on football, but also have the latest from around the conference. ACC PM weekdays from 4 to 7 Eastern, except September 8th when there's women's soccer. That'll be shown for a couple hours in the afternoon right here on ACC Network and the ESPN. We told you it's the second week of the season, so plenty of action coming up for the Wolfpack. They'll be home. It's a little earlier tournament, Thursday and Friday, to clear the slate for Saturday football here in Raleigh. But TCU and a very good Western Carolina team comes to town on September 9th.
That's right. Look at that slate. You see a lot of big names. Indiana trying to make a name for themselves in the Big Ten. So that's an important match for Indiana against NC State. TCU trying to make a name for themselves in the Big 12. Brand new coach Jason Williams in his first season there. Then you finish up with the SEC ACC crossover, Georgia and at Arkansas on the 15th and 16th.
Tennessee, meanwhile, they'll host Norfolk State, New Hampshire, and Citadel. And then the big matchups coming up, top 25 Western Kentucky and at Pittsburgh in a couple of weeks.
And West Kentucky always fantastic. They and Rice always compete for their conference title. And then, of course, we've been talking about Pittsburgh throughout this evening. Tennessee's matchups look pretty strong here over the next couple weeks.
Lovett soars in from the back row and terminates. So Erica Lovett with 12 kills, hitting 300 tonight.
Well, sure enough, good answer from Lovett. Rotates to the front row. She's been hot all day, so what do when you have your first chance to make a set? Give it to Lovett. Coach Rackham-Watt loves setting Lovett, and I know that's
and like the McDonald's theme song, she's loving it.
She's loving it.
Feeding her top target. Remember, all conference Daniel Mahaffey out with a lower leg injury the last 2 weeks, so needing some hitters to produce. And in system, Jada Allen finds the floor.
Talk about needing production. NC State looking for any action they can out of the middle. This time it's Jada Allen on the middle quick. Good work by her. Her jump after the kill celebration was almost as high as it was on the attack itself.
And I love the celebration there. There's 2 teams that want to win tonight. Boy, the service errors have been ill-timed for NC State in this match.
I think she really rushed that serve. Her rhythm's a little bit off. You can see her gritting her teeth. She knows that it wasn't an unlucky mistake, but a mistake of her own that she could have been cleaned up. So instead, deadlocked at 21.
And here comes Ashlyn King to serve. She'll rotate in. The journalism and electronic media major. So she wants to do what we do one day. Let's see how King responds on the service line. Daniel back set. And Allen dumps it in. That's a pretty touch.
Wonderful deception from Jada Allen. Part of the deception there is on the right side zone. Amanda Rice has been attacking hard. So you're anticipating attack from there. So instead, Jada Allen comes around, just a little mini tip, gets the job done.
Kiki Granberry. Hasn't been much of an impact in this set, but there's a big swing.
Haven't called her name in a little while, probably almost an hour as the clock speaks, but great middle attack from her, straight down.
And you saw Jada Allen commit to the double outside on Lovett. That's a wide open alley for Granberry.
That's right. I don't blame Jada Allen for being a little flinchy. Lovett has been fantastic over there, so Allen probably cheating a little too much. Smart move by Hayward to get the ball to a streaking Granberry.
Here's Abigail Matoso at a Moraga, California serve. The St. Mary's transfer. McDaniel goes near side. What a save. And it's down for a point. NC State up one.
Smart court awareness by Leoniak. Leoniak recognizes that everybody was stuck in coverage for Tennessee on the dig. Therefore, she just shoots it to the back right corner of the court comfortably and calmly for the point.
Leoniak having a breakout effort. 5 kills. And 4 of those in this set.
And that was a really smart one. That one doesn't go, that one goes in the book as a kill, but I like that court awareness, recognizing that the defense from Tennessee was not prepared for just an easy looper into that corner. Great smart play by her.
How could NC State close out a set? That's been the question tonight. Tennessee winning 25-22, 25-22 again, and now in set 3. This will be a bump set by Laborda. Will this stay in the park? Oh, wait a second. That hit a banner up at the very top of the roof and actually came back into play.
That's it. Chastity Melvin, one of the retired women's basketball players, number 44's banner got tagged on that one.
It might have actually saved NC State for a minute, but then it shot right down.
That's right. She was trying in spirit to save the ball to keep the volleyball squad in play.
A timeout call by Lucas Slave at NC State. We'll take a quick timeout to finish out set 3 when we come back from Raleigh. And on cue, we've seen some amazing fans across the ACC. Well, now I need your help. ACC Network wants to experience each sport from your perspective. So snap a picture and tag at All the Devotion hashtag and post it on social media. You might just see it on the network or even tonight on ACC Network Extras. So doing your part as fans here in the ACC Conference. So here we go. Third set, Tennessee leads by 2. And 23 apiece. The Volunteers want to win in straight sets. The Wolfpack want to push this match to 4. And the serve goes into the net. Jakaya Moore gives NC State set point.
NC State takes a grasp at their first set point here. They were really staring at it. Tennessee, a tough opponent. 3 good rotations for NC State with Kristen McDaniel back on the serve. It'll be Leoniak on the block, along with Lily Cropper and Amanda Rice.
Set point, NC State. Booth extends the set with a kill. She now has 10, by the way. Third player for Tennessee with 10 kills.
That ball just snuck in the front of Lily Cropper and Amanda Rice. They were in position, but not penetrated enough to finish it off.
Tennessee hitting 400 in this set, and an ace gives the Volunteers match point. Timeout, Lucas Slabe, a big one for NC State. We told you Natalie Hayward was all conference material. Add an ace to her resume tonight.
Well, and you want to talk about adrenaline way up. After that ace, she comes running into the huddle to be exceptionally pumped up to try to lift her team to get that one last match point.
So welcome you courtside here with my partner Paul McDonald. I'm Evan Budrovich. And Paul, we've seen Tennessee find ways to win the first two sets. How do these clubs figure out a way to earn set three and maybe the match for Tennessee?
Well, really, for set three, it's going to be number 3. Let's get a look at the outside hitter for Tennessee, doing a fantastic job on the attack. Cadence Booth has done a good job over there, but it's really been about the pins getting the job done for the Tennessee squad.
The Volunteer squad who lost earlier today to Colgate. NC State's run the table in this tournament. First sign of adversity for Lucas Slabe's club tonight.
That's right, and for Lucas Slabe's squad, of course, now they've got to ward off a match point. It'll be on service reception. So key. After getting aced, what's the mentality of NC State? That'll be the question on the service reception.
Tennessee won this matchup in straight sets in Knoxville last year. And now a chance to do just the same, winning on the all-conference senior and 3-year captain Natalie Hayward. Good crowd on hand, good atmosphere, and it all comes down to this final moment.
You can see the fans trying to will NC State to ward off that last set point, see if they can get it tied up at 25.
Match point, Tennessee. Whoa! An ace leads to a service error, and now we're even at 25.
That's frustrating if you're Tennessee, missing 2 opportunities to close out the match off of missed serves. Now NC State with a chance in Leoniak on the service line.
Martina Leoniak, 5 kills in this match. She has shined in her moment. Good dig by Hernandez and a net violation, NC State. So match point, Tennessee. Remember, win by 2 at this point. So Tennessee now in position. NC State had a set point, 24-23, and Tennessee has come back. Now Cadence Booth from Kernersville. An hour and a half here from Raleigh, serves for the match. McDaniel the bump. Nice dig by Laborda. Now Lovett to win it. Last chance, NC State. Laborda keeps it alive. Hernandez goes outside. Nice dig. Here's the match for Fingal, and she puts it down. Tennessee overcomes set point. They take it in straight sets, 27-25.
Morgan Fingal with the finish. Great work by her to wrap things up. If you weren't going to go to Lovett, then you got to go to Morgan Fingal. The monster lefty turns it on to the tune of hitting at a 346 clip. She was hitting negative in the first set. Morgan Fingal leads the Tennessee squad with 13 kills to wrap up the 3-set victory over the NC State Wolfpack.
So Tennessee earns its second win of the tournament. NC State goes 2-1. Colgate goes 2-1. Very competitive weekend in Raleigh. And you're right, the story is Morgan Fingal, Erica Lovett for the Volunteers. Great crowd on hand in Raleigh. SEC, ACC, bodies flying everywhere. And it's the Volunteers with a straight set win over NC State. For my partner, Paul McDonald, I'm Evan Budrovich saying good night from Reynolds Coliseum. The Tennessee Volunteers win in straight sets. This is the presentation of ESPN as Tennessee takes it in 3.